there. I talked about this last night in my pork chop video. I'm making pate today. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to because I was supposed to go to the design center with a client this morning. There was a change of plans, and I had some free time this morning to just kind of get myself in order, and I have a parent-teacher Zoom at 1:30, and so I can kind of bang this out and get it in the oven and maybe even out of the oven before that happens. A lot of times when I make a pate for a party, I'll make it in a big container, and I'll do kind of a pate de campagne and then a layer of chicken liver mousse, and in between like some sage leaves and sorrel leaves, and then another layer of sage and pate de campagne again. I'm not doing that today. This is sort of our quick and dirty pate. This is my weekend lunch kind of pate. So I'm making it in this smaller terrine, which is nice because it has a press. You know, some pate recipes tell you to like weight it down with bricks and stuff like that. Some of the older ones, you're trying to get it really dense, so that when you slice it, it doesn't crumble. We're looking for like a really good, dense, finely minced, integrated whole. So that's what the press is for. And we're also gonna cook it in a water bath, which helps distribute the heat. Any kind of like lasagna pan, something with handles that is deep enough that the terrine can sit in it is great. What I also have done is, and I did this because I had bacon grease on my hands doing it, so I needed to wash my hands. But usually I line the terrine with bacon. I'm trying an experiment today because I had some kind of fatty prosciutto, and so I lined the terrine with, or sort of greased the terrine with some bacon grease, you know, our bacon grease, which belongs in the fridge, remember? And then I put some prosciutto in it. This is 3 slices of prosciutto. And then since I'm not doing those layers, I put the sage in the top there, or it will be the top, in the bottom. And then I'm gonna put some on top when I finish stuffing it with our meat mixture. Now, in this sort of large bowl down here, I have a pound of ground pork and half a stick of butter that's soft. And some herbs and spices. What's in there is this quatre épices again, the French 4-spice, which is white pepper, ginger, cloves, and nutmeg. I also put in some of this mace. You know, nutmeg is like that. It's kind of a biggish seed, and it has this lacy covering on the outside of it. And that's the mace, and so you can use that as well. It has a slightly different flavor. It's a little bit stronger. It's nice in things like this. I also have some ground savory and a little bit of ground thyme. And again, the reason I'm using the ground herbs is because it's nice to have everything in this very fine paste. And what is going to help keep everything together is, you know, I've read in a couple recipes to use breadcrumbs, but like, for example, this lady who is the authority on, you know, pate, etc., is described that as a last resort. And so we're not going to last resort our special weekend lunch. We're going to make it good, right? So instead, what she tells you to do is use an egg and a couple tablespoons of flour, and you just kind of whisk it up into this nice paste. See? And I love this little whisk. Ooh, I didn't get my scar. I whisk it up into this nice little whisk that has a scraper on the side of it, which is really handy. So I'm going to put that in the bowl. And the other thing we want to use is a little bit of wine, a little bit of cognac. I do not drink cognac, so I went to the liquor store and asked him what I should use for cooking, and I don't know. We'll see. We will see. So usually, every time I think of cognac, I think of the movie Clue and Annette being like, "Oh no, mon Dieu, I also drink the cognac." So here we're gonna pour in about, you want about 3/4 of a cup of booze. In a perfect world, if we were again doing our best iteration of pate, we would make our meat mixture the night before and everything would soak in and integrate so very nicely. And I'm not doing that today because I didn't decide really to do it until this morning. So I even defrosted my chicken livers in water like we talked about with the shrimp. And we're gonna also put in a 1/2 cup of wine. But anyway, so, quick kitchen. We're just living our best life here. And the other thing, so since I do like the flavor of the chicken livers, and in fact, I'm probably going to use the rest of the chicken livers and saute them and have a chicken liver salad with grapes and mixed greens and pecans and balsamic for lunch. But I'm using probably about 2/3 of them, about 2/3 of a pound of chicken livers that I have whizzed up in my little miniature food processor into a paste, and they are with the shallots. Now, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she was talking about how she had this recipe for meatballs, and that the onions went in raw, and they just didn't cook, and it was really gross. And I understand, you don't want big chunks of uncooked onions in things that are not meant to be there. It's fine in pico de gallo or, things like that, but that's not what we're doing here. So instead of using onions, which our friend Jane Grigson suggests sauteing in butter, I'm trying to use as few dishes as possible. So instead I'm using shallots that I have, shallots have a thinner layer, and so they're thinner and they cook faster. But I put them in here with the chicken livers. And, the main thing when using this little food processor thing is you try to do it without dropping your blade into your mixing bowl. So we're just going to scrape all that out. It's this nice paste. And again, if I were making a chicken liver mousse, you cook the chicken livers and then put them in the blender with the cognac and the butter and the spices. I'm not doing that today. We're doing quick and dirty pate. So I have this it's called a pastry fork, and I'm gonna see if I can get all this integrated like this, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to. So I'm gonna have to get in here with my hands. And you just kind of really want this very mixed up, like a meatloaf mix, like meatballs, more than, you just want it really, really good and integrated. Now my sweater sleeves have fallen down, and we're going to try not to get chicken livers and butter and cognac on our favorite orange sweater here. It sounds super gross, I know, but it's going to be really good. Let's see, that might be good enough to get into our terrine. Unfortunately, even though our butter was so nice and soft when I put it in there, the pork was cold, and so it immediately seized up. But it might be okay because it'll all melt in the oven. I'm gonna wash my hands again. Okay, sorry about that. And then we are ready to put it in our terrine. And you just kind of gloop it all in there inside our little cave of prosciutto. And oh good, it all fit. I was a little worried. And then so right on top, I have more sage leaves that I'm just going to kind of arrange here. Sage is a pretty strong flavor, so you either need to kind of use it like this, like an emanating kind of flavor, or chop it really finely. I mean, I like the flavor of it, but you know. And then we have our little press. I'm gonna put that on. And our lid. Whew, we glooped out of the side a little bit. That's okay. So what'll happen is it's very full right now. And as it cooks and as the water evaporates, it will start shrinking. And when it is ready, it should be separated from the sides. There should be like some fat in there. And it's like a cake. If you stick a toothpick in it, it should come out clean. So I'm going to put it in the water bath. And you cook this at 325 for about 2 hours. You know, one time, it's actually really funny, and I've never been able to repeat this. Some people pour aspic in after it's cooled and then put it in the fridge, and the aspic makes this, like, you know, gel thing on top. And one time when I made this, I was really tired. It was the night before a party, and I left it in the oven. And I left it in the oven all night, and it cooled so slowly that an aspic formed like magic. And I've never been able to recreate that. But, you know, miracles happen. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven. And when it's finished, I'm going to turn off the oven and leave it for a little bit, because it is sort of hard to handle that water bath when it's super, super hot. And then it'll go in the fridge, and it'll be a great weekend lunch with a little salad and some crusty bread. So I encourage you to try it. Thank you for joining me. Bye.